Well, hello and welcome to Tarot for Our Times. I'm Sarah, your medium on the go. And so tonight's burning question is what has been going on at that J.D. Vance dinner where he has all of these inner circle people there? I think some Justice Department. And is he out to get his boss's job? Are they discussing the 25th Amendment? I mean, they've got pretty solid grounds for that, but you know that they're going to be discussing Epstein. So I'm going to take a look at that. So um, this is brought to you by the Ten of Swords. So are they all going to be sticking the knives in his back? It didn't take me too long to figure that one out. And swords is also tens. When you get tens, it does signify an end to something. So are they planning the downfall of Trump? So another thing that also inspires me in my readings is movies. So when in following Mr. Eye Makeup throughout this from last, with the first he completely trashed Trump, but then he was chosen as the vice president candidate, and it's just been one big love fest. So in the movie, I was thinking about All About Eve, classic movie with Bette Davis. And it's pretty much about an established actress on Broadway who is getting a little bit too old to play the ingenue parts. So, but she's still an icon of the stage, and she's engaged to a playwright. So there's this dewy-eyed, bright-eyed actress who's been standing in the rain, waiting at the stage door, standing room only, seeing all of her performances, and she manages to get in and meet and meet what's her name? Well, the Bette Davis character, and she's just worshiping the ground she walks on, and I would like to be half the actress you are, but in meantime conniving how she's going to take her place. I don't want to tell you too much about it unless in case you haven't seen it, but it is a classic. So I pretty much compare J.D. Vance to that. Is that he came in all excited and I will do my master's bidding and all this sort of thing, but he's gotten kind of ambitious. So you have to wonder, is all this about Eve? He's got even the eye makeup and everything. But at any rate, but there is a little bit of a glitch because he's despised everywhere he goes. Plus, unlike the movie, he does not have the charisma to get the crowds. I think Trump has a charisma that does that does appeal to kind of lower energy, kind of the way alcohol and drugs are. They're very attractive, but they're very low energy, or not for the highest and the best, but it is an appeal. It's gotten to him where he wants to go for people that are kind of like not too well put together. So, at any rate, the thing is, Vance lacks that, and I don't think he's ever going to get that. So, unlike Eve, who does have charisma and talent, this guy doesn't. So that's where it departs. But it is all about. It's amazing how politics can be like show business. They're always ready to stick the knives in. So, At any rate, I want to do a general read and see where this is going. If there's any other questions that come up, I will do the shorter version. I have been shuffling these cards, so I do want to just see where this goes. Like, what is this dinner all about? Something tells me that it's not about one thing, but I'm pretty sure it's about, if they may not plot entirely for the 25th Amendment to remove him, but believe me, it will be discussed. It'll come up. It will come up. This could be, I would say this could be planting the seed, because they know that Taco is not going to get any more coherent. So they could be waiting until he's totally bonkers and they have no choice. So that may be kind of on the back burner, but the thing is that I think I've seen some other readers who say that maybe tonight they'll figure out how to keep the women who were just little girls back then quiet. I'm not so sure they want to do that. That this whole thing with pardoning Maxwell, it could all be about let Taco take let him take the hit for that, and that way they distance themselves. Now I understand, of course, the oldest thing in the playbook is to to discredit these victims or the survivors, and call them liars. But you know what? That's old. That's back in the 20th century. I don't think people are going to buy that. But never underestimate the power of delusion and denial. Okay, so let's see where this is going here. Okay. Alrighty. Oh, so where is this thing at right now? And we have, I would say, well, with the Fool being the zero, the beginning and possibly the end of the journey of the tarot, he's not quite ready to, he's getting near the edge of the cliff. I think that they are probably, unlike the rest of this whole thing, they're talking about as rationally as they could. Probably they're contemplating doing something very new and radical, but I would say, just from the demeanor of this figure, is that they're in the talking stage, but they're definitely considering something bold. So let's see what we have in the before tarot. Oops. Okay, I have been shuffling the hell out of these. Okay. In the before. Okay. So they're making alliances. Not everything is in place. Yeah, well, a couple things are in place, but not everything. This is the world in reverse, which means there may be some loose ends in the past that they need to tie up to put this in motion. But I would say there are some alliances being made. And, that's Susie, what's her name? She's there. I think maybe Pam Blondie is there with the DOJ. So I think they're just kind of, it looks like they may be feeling it out. So let's see as a result. Oh, yeah. The thing is, when that dinner is over, they will still be tied to the devil. He's a hard one to beat. But see these alliances, this couple going at it down here? Good thing I drew some clothes on them. Okay, this couple down here. The alliances will be formed, and I think they're trying to feel out who can they touch and who can't they. I think things will be discussed, but probably basically what they're going to work on, what their priorities are, how they have to be. And the thing is that this is telling me they have to be very, very careful. Okay. So the energy crossing this is the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. They know that if this is badly planned, what with people not being trusted, which is another thing of the Ten of Swords, like who are the spies in the camp, and if we set this up wrong, the whole thing's going to fall apart. So that's the Seven of Pentacles in reversal. So let's see, underlying all of this stuff here, we have in the past, the moon. The moon. I think this is there's going to be some revelations of some really, really, really dark stuff. And it tells me that they're trying to figure that out. That's a big thing they're trying to figure out that's been going on for a while. And then we have still kind of hanging on to the old ideas, because any of this stuff that they want to do is really radical. So this is saying that that which could be the downfall of this whole MAGA thing, is that they're really clinging to the old stuff. So that's why this guy here may be hesitant. That's like they're talking. It's one of those dare we think. And that Epstein thing, that is a big elephant sitting on their banquet table tonight. You can, here we go. Two of Cups. They're going to have a very difficult time in agreements and trusting each other. But I believe that, and they're going to have to really walk with some caution here, because this is telling me they may not be in kind of groups of twos and threes. They may not be trusting each other, but they know they had to get together. This is serious. This is telling me that Vance may be smelling the room. Now, I'm not going to give him too much credit for being very perceptive, but he's going to do it the best way that he can. So, it's interesting because I've heard him described as a beta male. He is not a leader. He's not an alpha male. He's a beta male, which means he pretty much follows. That's why he got caught up in the whole Trump thing, because he follows to see how it's going to benefit him. So in opposition of all of this, we have, the Seven of Swords in reverse. So when this is upright, the thief is getting away with it. When it's in reverse, the way I read it, he's going to get caught. They're going to get caught. This is the big overriding thing, is the worry that they're going to get caught. Okay, so let's see. In their conscious thoughts, we have the Hierophant. So the conscious thought is that they're trying to throw the old rules on its ear. The problem is in thinking of dismantling government, if government is dismantled, and some of them have to know because they went to law school, is that things become pretty lawless, which means while we may be losing our rights, people will be emboldened to take steps because they know they can too. Because with all the cuts and all this sort of thing, who's going to be around to enforce them? And it could become open season on ICE agents too, which would make them even the most sociopathic people maybe not wanting to join them. Okay, so they know that they're thinking of, not consciously, they're thinking of the practicality or non-practicality of dismantling institutions. So on the subconscious level is, if all else fails, lie, and telling some very, very big whoppers. So I would say that this would definitely fall into the Epstein thing, and maybe lying to themselves that they're not trying to destroy the government that was formed almost 250 years ago. So this is on the subconscious level. Okay. So, in the past, interesting. In the past, yes. In the before tarot, when he's upright, he's it looks like he's sort of tending his garden and getting it ready. In the past, it looks like whatever they're up to, the planning isn't very good. I would say if it's along the Project 2025 thing, they're not planting a good foundation for this. And Epstein and everything else, and Maxwell and all this sort of thing, pretty much comes into play. So, in the present, as for tonight, we have the Six of Swords. So whatever's going on, there's nothing moving forward. They're staying in the choppy waters. This is telling me this is his lack of leadership. It's also like they're not thinking straight about the Epstein thing at all. They're trying to come up with some solution, but the Swords in reverse is saying that boat is not going to stay afloat because they're there. It's there to plug up the leaks, and they can't, because they just can't keep anything, secret or hush hush, which may be the biggest liability that they have. So okay, so coming up with this, that the problem is that there's so much infighting, they just can't get together. I mean, we got these Two of Cups in reverse. We've got the Four of Wands. If anything, there may be some of them splintering apart. Now, the thing is, I have a feeling this is pretty hush-hush, but somebody may have their phone recording. What this is telling me is that there are not going to be strong alliances made. If anything, there's probably going to be a breaking up of some alliances. And then we have, going a little further into the future, is they're going to consider doing something rash, which just may not work. Okay. So further on, as the weeks go by, further on we have, isn't this interesting? So this was this our base? Yeah, this was the base. This was the base card of this. And see what happens to him? That didn't work out too well. So they just, and if this is upright, the dog, which is a spirit guide, manages to get him off. I think here he's just going to take a leak and watch the guy fall off he'll lift the leg up, watch the guy fall off the cliff. So whatever they're up to is pretty much going to fall apart. Okay. So, in the hopes and the fears, see, the problem is that they're hoping to be, that this tells me this is a very ego driven thing. So the hope is that somebody wants to come out as the hero and the star of the show, which could be Vance, but they all know he's got zero personality. American people are shallow enough to be, put off by the eye makeup and all that sort of thing. There's something a little too, maybe the thing is there's something a little bit too weird about him, but he will try to be the star. Others will know he doesn't have what it takes. If they were to do something to, get Trump out of office, they know that he would just be merely a figurehead. But so there will be people at this dinner fantasizing about themselves in 2028. So, that's their hope. But the fear is that with too many people vying for this position, that may not work out too well. So, I want to put a clarifier on this, the hopes and the fears. Okay. But this is telling me is that those egos may be so strong that they just think, I'm not going to worry about it because I'm going to be the star, until maybe they aren't. Interesting. And while some of them want to kind of stand alone, there's a little bit of a fear because they know that's not going to work out. So this is kind of a mess. Okay, so concluded the conclusion of what's going on. Let's see, what do we have here? We have the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, whatever hopes he has for being the big wheel, so to speak, isn't going to work out. I don't know if he realizes that not only, he knows all the people booing him, they don't like him, but that his own people don't. So this could be the beginning of the end for him. And all the horrible stuff he's doing, it is going to come back. It's definitely going to come back and bite him. So I want to do a quicker reading on the, this looks like an overview of what's going on, maybe what they're talking about. But I just want to go into do a shorter reading on Epstein and see what they're trying to figure out about that. I think I might be in a little disagreement with a couple of the other readers because this is such a, if they want to get rid of Taco Boy, that what better thing than to let him take the heat for Epstein, and that they can be their like holy roller, Bible thumpy, distance themselves from that. But I want to see what's going on. But then there's also the whole thing that they could be worried about this whole thing tarnishing the Republicans, and that it's not going to be a bunch. I think it's going to be pretty well spread out between people of all parties and all over the world. There's Russian oligarchs. There's Arabian sheiks with money to burn, the oil people, Saudi Arabia, who knows, that are involved with this. So, of course, the whole thing is that, there's a rumor for entertainment purposes only that the reason that Blondie wanted to shut this down is that her brother may have been involved. It may be, it is about protecting the taco, but it may also be more about protecting her own. So there may be some fear about what this uncovers, which is the thing that could throw the glitch in this. I think they'd like to see them, probably, so they may be caught between a rock and a hard place with this Epstein thing, because a lot of them are for releasing the list. And I would hope that they are not going to threaten. See, if those girls, the ones that were girls, if they get threatened, that could really come back to bite them, and the Wheel of Fortune in reverse will really come after them. Big time will come after them. So they have to be careful, but what they may do is try to protect some of their own. But the one thing that the Democrats are very pragmatic about is, hey, if it's one of their own, there's slime. They need to be exposed. They need to face the consequences, and then we just, that's it for them. They get a little bit too carried away with that sometimes, like they did with Al Franken. We don't want to have any of that. But when it comes to anyone that could be involved with having sex with children, or rape, actually it isn't having sex, it's raping children because they can't consent, then, let the chips fall where they may. So that's a lot of it. So this is complex about, I think they may have mixed feelings, but let's see, I'm going to do a shorter reading of this. Okay, alrighty, so what do we have with this as far as what they may be talking about with Maxwell and oh boy. Interesting. We have the Tower in reverse. Now, I think right now, this whole thing is the mini towers. Like, it's kind of bad. It's a game of whack-a-mole that they put a fire out and another one begins. But the problem is, what the Tower in reverse also indicates is that they keep doing the same old stuff that doesn't work anymore, and that is the engraved invitation for the upright big tower of destruction to happen. So let's see what's leading up to this. We have the Hierophant upright. And he's just beginning his day, and the students are getting there. I think what's leading up to this is that whole thing, that whole evangelical, the institution of, really rigid, toxic religion like this new breed of evangelism, this sort of thing. So this is certainly if they continue on this route, they will be getting the big one. So result of that is just not going to move forward, not moving forward at all. So I think what this thing about is the diversionary tactics to take if they don't know exactly what to do about it, let's throw some stuff in another direction and move people away from it. They're not getting moved away from it. So we have the energy here. Chariot in reverse. Yep. As far as throwing something new for people to take their minds, it isn't going to work. It hasn't worked in the past history. It will not work now. In opposition of this, we have Seven of Swords. They're going to get caught. They're trying not to get... The whole thing is... Object of all of this is trying not to get caught. but they're going to get caught. That's the whole thing. They are going to get caught. So in the past with this, we have King of Cups. Interesting. So the universe, he's in reverse. The universe is trying to give him the his cup to start off the day, which is the cup of intuition, feelings, creativity, and it's in reverse. He's not taking it, and it's also the very toxic, sick king with a lot of emotional and cognitive issues. Gee, I wonder who that could be. Okay, so this is what they have been dealing with. This is what this has brought, all of this stuff. Of course, they have to see that they have been to blame with it because they keep making the mistake of enabling him. And so there you go. So they've had again, after 2020, they could have made it possible that he could not have run with 34 convictions. They never learn. So they go from one mini tower to the next, and those towers are getting bigger and bigger now. So that's in the past. In the present, with this is they're pretty much wallowing in their self-pity and not coming up with any kind of solution as to what to do about the Epstein files, because there's those that want them released and there's those that do not want them released. So they are and this is real. They know what Watergate did. So now they are wallowing in self-pity because this is just screwing everything up, as if the tariffs and the still ongoing inflation wasn't enough. We have this, and when you are in a state of this, so see, like with the blindfold on and you get yourself all tied up and all of these things, they have made themselves prisoners of their own bullshit, to be quite honest with you. And when you're like this, you cannot come up with any solutions, and they're kind of trapped in a thing because there really are no solutions. Because every time there's been trying to deflect, it only gets worse. Something new comes up. So I did finish watching, Marianne with Revealing Light Tarot, and she said, of course, it's going to be discredit them and call them liars. But they'll do it even knowing. They will do it even knowing that the blame the victim thing is really not good strategy. But they're trapped in they're trapped in their own bullshit, so they don't know what to do. So they're going to do the same old. That's what it is. Like, it's very, let's go back to 1955. She asked for it, okay? She's lying, or she wanted it, or, the many things. It is not 21st century. Sorry, guys, it just isn't. So they have no solutions. They made all these bad choices, and now they're stuck with this. And then, with Maxwell, she figures she's got him by the short ones too. And if they, they can gerrymander Texas and all this till the cows come home. But they know that if this woman is cut loose before the election next year, they're going to lose, no matter what they do because people will come out in huge numbers after they've hit the streets. especially if they have, you know, relatives and, loved ones in prison because, oops, they didn't know the girl was 16 and she looked like she was 25, that, and the parents' statutory, there's a lot of those. So, there's going to be some incredibly pissed off people. But then if they don't, then she's going to sing about Taco and the rest, and God knows half of Congress. I mean, they're really stuck between a rock and a hard place here. They're not seeing a lot of options, so it may be a big pity party. So let's see. In the near future, I just think I see a lot of emotional little, as I call this, the Page of Cups in reverse is the titty baby card. So this is part of their wallowing in self-pity. They'll piss and moan about we poor white people, whatever, or honorary white people, we're being made the victims, and they'll go into that song and dance, and they'll just make themselves bigger victims over sexual kitty predators. Okay. Then coming up a little further in the future, we have, here we go, the Page of Cups. In the after, he's contemplated the fish, and the fish is, I'm out of here. I am out of here. So, this is kind of telling, whatever they're contemplating, there's nothing that's going to work, and it has gone down to a pretty infantile level, because I don't imagine much. Now, I don't think they're going to be throwing food at each other, but what I do get a sense that they're not going to be really mature adults either. So going a bit more into the future, we have the truth coming out. That horse has left. That horse is left. They're taking the flag. The sun is out, but with the sun of truth. But they got off of that horse, and so they're going to go back to the same old denial stuff around him. So let's see. Now, I think I have enough time. I think I do want to do a conscious and subconscious about Epstein, the Epstein file. So on the conscious level, we have suspended animation. It's also whatever they're shooting out is not going to hit the target. I think it's going to be complaining without any real solutions. Discredit them, and well, maybe, see, and then the cop-out is maybe what we want to do is, let him take the fall for it, throw him under the bus. I think there's a lot of throwing him under the bus. So this is on the conscious level. Like, nothing we're going to shoot out there is going to work. Blame the victims, yada, yada, yada. All of that stuff. Plus, they know that woman just lies through her ass. And part of the time she's serving is for perjury. So this may be, okay, the sword is on the subconscious thing is, what they're going to do is like to say, whatever we discuss here is going to stay here, especially what we think about Epstein, that they can't keep their goddamn mouths shut. They just can't. Someone's going to leak, and it'll just turn out to be the biggest dum-dum show. So Let's see. Hopes and fears around Epstein. Okay. Um, I think that the discussion is probably going to get pretty gamey, and I think that they're going to try to make this thing a secret, but there may be someone that ready to blab, not yet, but see with all these, now they're reading with all those Two of Cups and stuff like that in reverse, and the Four of Wands, where there's kind of a wait and see. If my enemy does anything, I'm wielding the sword and I may spill. So there may be some stuff leaking out, which I think is going to probably, and the fear is that the hope is that they'll keep their big mouths shut, because this is the upright. He is showing restraint. The fear is that this guy will go, there'll be someone there that goes reverse and spills the beans. So the concluding card for what they're discussing about the Epstein thing is the Three of Cups in reverse. Yep, I think they're just going to have some more wine. It will not be celebratory. It'll be like time to nullify and numb out kind of a thing. So I do see kind of an excess of drinking, because they really, as far as this goes, they really they don't have any solutions for this. This may be, damn, we're probably going to have to throw them under the bus. And if any of you have a brother, or you have been on that plane to the island, and doesn't necessarily mean you raped children, but the thing is that they will investigate to see if you did, and they are coming forward. So there's nothing for them to celebrate about this, because they won't come up with any solutions. That's it, as far as this goes. See, the thing is, and what this is telling me too, on the more cynical side, getting back to this Eight of Swords, is that I think on the more cynical side, which would be a mini disaster, but is for cut her loose. And the bright side of it is that the woman's probably going to be dead before the month is out, because I don't care how much security she has. There are people on all sides of the issues, like the whole world would like to kill her. It's just family members of victims who became unhinged about this, MAGA people who feel she's part of the big betrayal, because I'm telling you, I don't need to pull any cards over this, but when I've heard the talk about her being free and figuring her life just isn't going to be, it's not anything we wish, but I'm realistic. Her life isn't going to be worth anything, because I think, especially if the Russians are involved, and Putin wants to keep some of that, God knows what's going on, for entertainment purposes only, that if those close to him are compromised by this, and he wants her unalived, trust me, there's no place in the world she can go where that isn't going to happen. But, no one can believe her. And one thing that that no one has discussed, maybe I'll draw a couple cards over this, is the fact that, she may be saying, oh, I'm redacting Taco from this whole memory banks. Oh, no, he didn't have anything. There's no guarantee that she isn't going to spill the beans, because, as I said in a previous reading, I'm sure they were talking about bribing her too, to keep her mouth shut. Is the thing about blackmailers, and one who is a sociopath like she is, they do not hesitate to keep threatening to spill the beans. And I bet she's perfectly capable of spilling the beans if she doesn't get everything she wants. And I'm telling you, people that do that, they don't have a very long life expectancy. So I've always said with her, she may want to be careful what she wishes for. So I do agree with Marianne when she's saying that what they would like to do is hold off the pardon until after the next year's elections. But she's saying, no, I want out now. I want out now. And so I think I feel as though this is my own like psychic thing coming out, is I think that there's a big conflict because she's making a lot of demands. She's not stupid, but she also, I think there's only one way she may be stupid, and that's with all blackmailers. They get really stupid when it comes to, they'll always be around to get more, and then boom, somebody unalives them. So that would not be too bright. But at any rate, I think that she was discussed, but I don't think they agreed on any solution as what they're going to do. But I would say that because of this, that their fearless leader is so tarnished that they really want to get him out of the picture. Somehow. And I think they were just throwing some stuff out on the table tonight, but this group they're not united enough. That's the whole thing. They're really not, but they're talking about it, and so I think that's it. I realize that most of, Epstein is coming up in all of these readings, but that is what is going on. I mean, everything in the world. I mean, you can talk about Israel, but there's the Mossad connection. I mean, it's all tied together. With Russia, it's the oligarchs connection. Trust me, that is going to be coming out pretty soon, too, for entertainment purposes only, but I strongly believe that. So, with that, I think I'm done drawing cards for tonight, so I'm going to sign off. Bye-bye.